welcome to How to Deal When the Shit Gets Real podcast. I'm Rietta.
And I'm Connie, and today we are here with Terr Cacilia. So, tell us, how do you deal when the shit gets real?
How do I do when the shit gets real? Well, hi, thank you so much for having me on. First of all, I'm very excited to get into the shit with you.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
We dig shit every night.
I love it.
It's what my husband says anyway.
I'm a native New Yorker, so like I know about the shit. I get the shit.
Oh yeah.
I smell the shit.
There you go.
It really is.
Yeah. So yeah, I started with a career in like fashion and beauty and quickly realized that like not for me, Devil Wears Prada life, not actually what I want. And I couldn't really ignore the call that I was having to, I've always known that I was psychic medium, like intuitive and whatnot. And I'm like, as the pandemic came and life got so quiet, I was like, oh, the call is coming from within the house. And I like have to answer this phone. And yeah, I've been working as an intuitive psychic medium and death worker and just like helping people destigmatize like their life, death, legacies, and then applying my own experience and like sharing my experiences with my podcast and on YouTube and just trying to be as authentic as possible. And the funny, like yours is like how to deal when the shit gets real, and my podcast is the messy medium. So like we're messy. Like I'm here for it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're gonna have to walk backward for me. What is a death worker? What does that mean? You said it, and I'm like, what in the hell? I've never heard of that before.
Well, you're like most people. So I say death worker, and like it's very broad. Like you can interpret this as a lot of different things. Like technically speaking, if you're helping people prepare their estates and wills and stuff, you might be on like the paralegal side. You're doing death work. But like for me, I'm having like conversation with people who have like anticipatory grief, like they know someone's ill, is going to die, or they're, not quite ready to dive into the task that is therapy, but they're like, what does this mean? And when they die, like, what does that mean? So that's more where I am right now, which, and like, we'll talk about more, me deciding to go back to school for like psychology and like parapsychology. It's kind of like, all right, I need like, the woo-woo was great, but like, I am here to be like, no, I need like real tools.
Okay.
But
I
like,
love that though. Because you compare both together is great. Yeah.
But traditionally, you would come across like death doulas. I have like my death doula certification when someone's in hospice, and they basically hold vigil as someone dies. And yes, they're there to help the person who's like actually like having the death happen to them. But they also are helping the family members navigate all of that.
Interesting.
So I mean, it's like basically how you're going to help people die or navigate.
Interesting.
Yeah. That would have been a good name for a podcast. How to help people die, because people would go, "What? Hold on."
Yes. Or a book. Either one.
All right, I'm gonna put that in the old noodle.
Tuck that away. Absolutely.
I also wanted to walk it back to how you said, like, because of COVID and we were all locked down, you kind of realized that, like, the voice was in your head. So is that kind of how you really figured out that you were a psychic medium? Because, like, there weren't other people around you to, like, make you think it was coming from other places?
I've always known that I was a medium. I could not poo-poo it and brush it away any longer. Like with once COVID had come around. And this is like such a long story. So we're just gonna like paraphrase it. I had my first experience at like 3 years old that I could like verbalize to someone like, I'm seeing your dead sister, to my mom. And like,
oh my God,
she had died like 5 years before I was even born. So like, and they Italian. So like, we're not necessarily talking about dead relative. Like death is like, this is like me breaking generational curses. I'm like, let's talk about every person who's ever died, because they not like that. So that was like the first time I like verbalized it. But then we lived in like our first apartment was a true first apartment, and it was like haunted, and it was like disgusting and terrible, and that's where I was stuck alone for hours because my husband's a nurse, so he was gone for like those 12+ hour shifts in the thick of COVID. And I'm having like premonitions and dreams, and like things are like I cannot ignore them, and it felt better when I was delivering the messages. So I was like, guess we're doing this full time now. Like, you're like,
guess this is life now.
Guess what? The world can shut down and you can die at any moment. Like, I'm not gonna ignore this feeling, because it felt good to deliver the messages to people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like anything, if you keep it bottled up, it just keeps building and building and building. And it's probably the same type of thing where your body's like, hello,
can you please let us out? Yeah.
Did you have problems with it like when you were like younger where you're like, ooh, I can't say that because they're going to be like, what the hell, weirdo type of deal? I don't know what else to call it except for like people being like, you're weird, like, oh my God, that freaks me out, or, whatever.
Yes. I have like so many stories. I will say I got in trouble a lot for like saying inappropriate stuff. I didn't think it was inappropriate because I was right, but it was I'm 6 years old and I'm like sitting across from my brother at breakfast and I'm like, there are dead people all around you. And my mom is like, you're like, I'm teasing him, I'm trying to like get him going.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting there, I'm seeing like great grandma, great grandpa, like people I've never met, but like,
but I know that they're
there. And I think that he had a heart condition. So I think that they were like they're protective. They were being protective of him and he was so young, but no, I was getting in trouble. And like, I told the eye doctor the first time I ever went to the eye doctor that I saw things and they like thought I had astigmatism. So they're like making me do like eye tests. And I remember being like, Mom, it's not like I see things. It's like I see dead people. Like literally, like I see people. Like I see dead people. She did not like that. So I got in trouble for a really long time. But then as like I got older, I got less afraid of it. So I was able to deliver accurate information to them. And then they would be like, once you start predicting death within a day and stuff, you can't really like be like your daughter's lying to you anymore, like still as like a kid and like teenager. So then, because again, like Catholic, so like she was like, that's like the devil and stuff. But then it's like, it's not an evil thing. It's just like spirits are coming to me, So yeah, I feel bad for my mother, like really bad in terms of that stuff.
Do you have a good relationship with her now?
Oh yeah, she's my best friend.
Yeah,
I like could not wait to be older because she'd be like, "I'm not your best friend yet," for like ever and ever and ever, And then last year she got remarried, and I was the maid of honor in her wedding, and I was like, "Guess we're best friends now," because
oh,
like, well, look at me now. You have to respect
so
me.
Cute.
That is.
Yeah.
So not only did you have that going on, but
Yeah.
from what you told us in your pre-interview, your father was battling an alcohol addiction. So how did that affect you? And I know you mentioned cycles because he was cycling through. How hard was it to go through those cycles with him?
Well, yeah. So he was battling alcohol addiction. Thankfully, I guess, I'm pretty certain, obviously, like, don't have like the cold hard facts of the child. Pretty sure he was a closet like alcoholic for like most of my childhood. Cause like even my mom's like, I didn't really put it together until like things really hit the fan after they broke up. But looking back now, I'm like, oh, that's alcoholism right there. Like that's now hindsight. But going through the cycles with him was really, really obviously difficult, because when he wasn't drinking, he was like literally the best person. Like my favorite, like how cliche, like literally, but like my favorite so funny, so smart. We actually just to like put into like context, like we had a great relationship when he was not drinking, so much to the point that we were going to have a podcast about The Bachelor and The Bachelorette because we both love The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. And we thought, how funny would a podcast of like an old retired cop and his millennial daughter talking about the Bachelor and Bachelorette be? So like that.
I mean, I like that. It's
I
funny.
know. I'm like,
I would like that more than actually watching The Bachelor.
I know. Because when he died, I was like, because we recorded like one like test episode together, and then the cycle began again.
Mhm.
And when he died, I was like, I'm mad at you for a lot of things, but like that was a freaking good idea, and now we can't do it.
Aw. Snarf.
Yeah, but the cycle of alcoholism, especially when someone like you see them like, oh, you're like they're doing well, and then they fall off the ladder, and then it's not even so much the drinking again. It's like they're watching their bodies, like the damage that it does. Like each time, I'm like, you are going to die. You are going to die. And guess what? Last time around the block, you died.
Mhm.
And I just
Was
like,
it
hung out a lot
liver
with him
failure
about
or
that. Yeah, it was hard. It ended up so he was like, found out he was drinking again. I knew it. I was like, told my mom, I'm like, I'm gonna have to confront him, like, because at this point, my grandma's died. Like, I'm like, which is a blessing because I didn't have to call her this time and be like, Dad's drinking again, So, but this time I was like, oh, like I'm the adult. Oh, So I, got into the hospital, got into a rehab facility, and we, rightfully so, were kind of at odds for like that months leading up to this. And we made up the day he died.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
The last things because it was like they had like a barbecue at the rehab facility that he was in. And he was like, yeah, I had a great day. We were listening to like old school R&B, and like we had a barbecue, and like his favorite food was barbecue and stuff. I'm like, wow, it sounds like you had a really great day. And then they were doing physical therapy and stuff with him too. He's like, hey, physical therapy's here. I didn't get to do it this afternoon. I gotta go. He's like, I'll call you back tomorrow, like he's like, love you. And I'm like, all right, I love you. I will talk to you tomorrow. And like we got off the phone, and like that was the first time in like this cycle I was like, maybe it'll be okay, because I was like being really reserved at this point because we've done this dance so many times. But nope, he passed away that night.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And you didn't have any like psychic notions that it was gonna.
So my husband's father also died of addiction. He was a drug addict though. Because it's, there's a little difference, change it up a little bit, And I'm not trying to act like funny or like casual about this. It's just like matter of the fact,
Yeah.
And like in reality, both those people were like funny and like lighthearted people. So they would probably are like right behind me, like, yep, fuck ups, like squared back, like, So when his father was gonna die, right before it happened, I kept having dreams about a bell tower, and like I could hear a bell tower, but it was like so dark and foggy, and I couldn't, like, I'm like, where's this bell? And like as it got closer to his dad dying, the night he died, I dreamt I was in the bell tower, like I was getting closer and closer to it, like each time I dreamt about it. So probably like 2 weeks before my dad died, I had the same dream. And I got up and I woke my husband up, and I'm like, my dad is going to die. And he was like, oh, she's like freaking out. It's been a stressful like 2-3 months. Like she's just freaking out. So after they like call and tell me that my dad's passed away, Zachary was like, I'm sorry that I tried to tell you that like that wasn't true. He's like, you were right. I will never question your intuition ever again. I'm like, it was exactly the same. Yeah.
Wow.
It was weird.
I also hope you recorded that conversation so you can replay it for him whenever he questions you.
I should have.
Damn.
That's why I need to get the cameras all over the house, because I would be like throwing the flag on everything.
Exactly. So actually that's a question that popped into my mind. Did your husband like always believe in your like psychic abilities? and like you as a medium and stuff, or like was there like a lot of doubt and then like eventually he was like, okay.
I will say, like, he is science. He is skeptical. I support it. I love it. I agree. You know, like, yes. But it wasn't until we were like allowed to like spend the night to get like him stay over the house and like be with me like overnight that like he really started to realize that things really are like coming like to me. Because I remember one time, this was like one of the first times when he was like, oh, like stuff does happen. You could hear like labored breathing at the end of the bed. But it was, to me, I'm sleeping. I know it's a spirit and stuck in their death state. And like, I'm working on that, you know, like through my sleep. But he's just hearing noises like at the end of the bed. And he's like, please, Lord Jesus, like, go away.
Poor guy.
So that was like,
holy shit, it's
got the shit scared out of him. And then he like, I mean, I don't do this anymore, but when I was younger, I used to like, if I had a spirit come to me like in Michael's, like the craft store, I would just like walk up to people. Or if we were at a wedding, I would just like walk up to people and tell them stuff. So like once I've done that like so many times and I've been like, it's a stranger and I've been like accurate, he's like, oh, this is like
this
legit.
is it.
Yeah. And like basically I'm like, I'm not wrong often. I'm wrong sometimes, you know, but I'm not, you know. So at this point, he's like, oh yeah, he doesn't question it. I got a discount on my car because of like a reading I did on the financial guy. So like he doesn't mess with it anymore.
It's paying the bills. He can't be mad or getting discounts anyway.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
It is fascinating to watch people do that. I went and saw Teresa Caputo live, cool. Forever ago. And it was wild to watch her work a room of like, I don't even know, 500 people maybe? Maybe not even.
Yeah.
But it was still wild. Like she'd be doing something and all of a sudden like point to somebody like way up in the balcony and be like, you, does this? And I'd be like, what? How? Out of all these people?
Yeah. It's like, imagine those people that in that room and you're already like overwhelmed. Now imagine like at least 2 to 3 dead people per person.
Oh my god,
it's gotta be crazy.
That's my life.
So everywhere you go, you're like, oh, dead person. Dead person.
I'm like trying to mind my business because I don't walk up to people and read like that anymore. Like I just, for me, obviously, like you see it on TV, those people have signed something before. Of course, the psychic has walked up to them, you know. Now I don't do that because I feel like it's evasive. But let me tell you something. I want to. I want to like so badly. But I know that if they're meant to be read, they'll either be read by me or someone else who's, you know, actively out there, you know.
Yeah.
Does it work for you over the internet too, or do you have to?
I was just thinking that, Riadia.
Yes.
I can't even say your name today, apparently.
Because I was forced to like go online.
Yeah, because COVID.
Oh, it was COVID. And I somehow, I don't want to say I prefer it, but it can be so intense in person sometimes that like the recovery period for me, I'm like, and I feel like we have more, how do I explain this? Like I have more time with the spirits if I do it online now, because sometimes when you're in person, like, so like the people who want to come through will come through or whatever, but then all of a sudden it's like there's no line anymore. Everyone's just like, but like things. Online, I feel like I have more control and I can sometimes deliver more accurate messages, and I feel like the channeling can be clearer because not only am I reading the spirits, now we're in person and I'm reading their energy, and I'm like trying not to like start to turn this into like a counseling session, you know, because I'm like, oh, you know, like, you know, I'm like, stay in your lane, let them buy the other package. Like,
That's got to be
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man.
So how did you know? I know this is like really backtracking. So you said you were in New York, you wanted to do fashion and beauty.
Yeah.
What made you realize it wasn't for you? I'm just curious.
It's
It
like
kills my cat all the time. Sorry.
sorry. Just like so dumb. It was so funny. Like, I love that.
Thank you.
I'm here all night.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like it was like a lot of little things. All of a sudden became a really big thing, So originally I was writing and like editing and stuff like in that world, magazine, like pitching like that. And I was like, this is fun, but like, what if I work more like media marketing, like make more money, it'll be like less stressful, like more consistent than being a writer out there. So I try that. And then I'm dealing with like the rudest people. Like, I don't want to say like the rudest rich people, but like
the rudest rich
people who like do not. They don't, what they're saying to you is not accurate. Like the investors and like all, it's just like, and I'm like also going through like the spiritual awakening. So like my tolerance for like bullshit is like diminishing like quickly, and their bullshit is like increasing quickly because I'm a hard worker, So like, even though I was unhappy, I was still going to work hard because like, I want to prove, that like I can do this, I'm taking like these one-on-one meetings. I'm like, there was one particular meeting I got like, it was right after my wedding, and they're like, well, your wedding's over, so it's time to focus. I'm like, I just helped you pull 6 figures in like a week. So like, and that's when I was like, they don't care. They don't care. And the problem is, I really give a shit about like people and like everything I do. So I went outside, I walked the dog, I cried for 15 minutes. I came inside and I drafted my resignation email and I said, deuces.
Good for you.
Yeah. I was like, nope. Yeah.
Honestly,
life is
that's
too
all
short
business
to
jobs.
stay in a job that
Yeah.
you don't care about. Like, there's no sense in staying in a place that
No.
that you're putting in more work than other people are, that you're not being valued for what you bring to the table. Like, there's no point in staying in that.
No. And
well, that's why people are now leaving their jobs within a couple of years and moving on.
Exactly.
Because nobody is now satisfied with working a shit job.
No. I was like, I am literally not sitting here doing the job of 2 people for you to like accost me, like you pick up a meeting once a week and like you get to yell at me. I don't think so. I don't think that's how it's supposed to work.
No.
I'm working pretty hard over here. That's why I see like all the news are like, millennials are leaving their jobs. Gen Z doesn't want to work a full-time job. They'd rather have the freedom of I'm like, yeah, good for them. Good for them.
You're like, yeah, no fucking shit.
Gee,
I wonder why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe one day things will change.
I hope so.
We can all dream a dream.
Yep.
Well, and a lot of people are getting underpaid right now too, with how expensive everything is. So that's not helping the situation either that people are working their tails off and getting underpaid on top of it.
Yep. Don't get me started on like capitalism. Don't open that door. Like, don't open it any further.
So was it like deuces and then everything shut down and you're like, psychic medium is where I needed to be? Or was it like deuces and now I need to figure out what I want to do next? Like, how did it go?
I actually, when I said deuces was when I had been rehired back after the pandemic. The only reason I said yes to like take my position back was because we were getting married, and like that was expensive. I was already I had made a plan. I made it like a presentation, like a PowerPoint presentation, and presented it to my husband. And I was like, this is my plan to like leave my job and like talk to dead people for a living.
I love it.
So I was like, I have to sell it, it's like who I am. So that was basically like the straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out well, I guess, because my dad ended up relapsing not too long after that. So like I was like free and able to like take care of him and like kind of like be aware of the situation while I like try to figure out my own thing. Yeah. So it was like kind of like a blessing in disguise. It's just all kind of like perfectly divinely timed, I guess. Yeah.
Following your dream. Can't go wrong there.
Mm-hmm.
Following something.
Do you like other things too? Like do you mess around with like tarot cards and stuff like that? Or are you just, I mean, I don't want to say just because obviously what you do is cool, but
no, that's fine. So I actually don't read tarot. I do read oracle cards. I've like gone back and forth about like whether or not I do want to read tarot cards. But it's just like not for me. I get tarot readings, like I trust them and everything, but it's just like the way I'm receiving
not what you're drawn to.
Yeah, the way I'm receiving the information, the oracle just works if I want to use them, But
what's the difference between oracle and tarot?
Yeah, so tarot is like a set amount. I can't remember. See, I don't practice it, so like I don't even know. It's like 70 something cards.
I was gonna say I think it's 76 or 77. I just started learning how to do it because I'm actually very intuitive, and I'm doing that to help learn to be better at my intuitiveness. But anyway, continue.
And it's like a set amount of cards, and like there are meanings that are like attached to those cards and like how they're delivered. But like oracle is more like up to interpretation by the reader, up to interpretation by like the person who's like created the card, It's honestly like I think if I'm gonna be like really real about it, I think I just don't like being told what to think about what card I pull. So I'm like, I don't want to read tarot. Like I want to think my own. Like, don't tell me that I have to learn something to read these. Like, it's that like rebellious nature of me is like probably why I haven't.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same way. Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me what this means. Like,
I'll tell you what it means.
Exactly.
It's kind of funny you said that because I'm taking a course, like a tarot course from a gal that I really adore. Actually, it's Robin Connie that we had on the podcast.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
And she literally told me to look at the cards and write down what I thought they meant and to not look at what they actually mean. She's like, I want you to decide what they mean for you. So it's kind of funny you said that.
Maybe I can take it from that angle. I mean, people gift me
ideas.
Tarot cards. Oh, I have so many tarot card decks that are so pretty, and I just don't use them because I don't read tarot. But people don't, because tarot's so like mainstream these days. People are like, "What's an oracle?" I'm like, it's the same thing. If I'm going to be honest, like,
yeah,
you're gonna get the best assessment from you with the right reader. So,
I think I have a deck of oracle cards too. They're like similar, but it gives you more like, and then there's like oracles for different things for like love and money and like all sorts of things.
Of course. Yeah.
So you are obviously a psychic medium now, and then you mentioned that you're going back to school to get your MS in psychology. So what are your goals and your plans and your dreams after you finish your degree?
Yeah. So obviously to continue to help people and like on like a higher level with the knowledge that I will have earned and paid for.
Yes.
I think I'm really, as I'm just like casually like researching now, really interested in like research and like documentary, like because I do love content like creation. I would also very much, now this is all like depending on like when we have kids and stuff, but I would love to like go overseas and study like parapsychology and get like maybe my doctorate in like the paranormal psychology. Yeah, but that is like dependent on like how life unfolds. Yeah.
Yeah.
But just because I don't do it in the next like I don't know, 10 years doesn't mean I can't go back like later in
Oh,
life,
absolutely.
like after the kids are old, like older, you know, because I'm just like realistic that like I am going back to school. I'm turning 30 in like a week. So like, is it later, you know, like, but on the other hand, I'm like, oh, like I can do whatever I want. Like my life is so weird. Like these kids are gonna grow up with a weird, like a mom who talks to the dead. So like,
It's fine.
it's fine.
I mean, and you are only 30. I think a lot of people, the thing that I don't want to say I don't like about social media, but the thing that I feel is kind of hard for social media is like so many people are like, you have to be successful by 25. No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You can be
No,
successful
it's
at
actually
35.
more.
You can be
It's
successful at
actually more
45.
that
You-
like the social norms don't even exist for being successful at X amount of time is what if anything is what I've learned from social media is that there are no norms anymore. You do what you got to do. You
Yeah.
do what you want. You figure it out. The end. That's what I've learned from social
The
media.
end.
Oh, I've seen so
Love
many
it.
people that are like, oh, I see all these people that are millionaires at 25 and I'm not, so I must be failing. No, homie, you're not failing. You're 20
failing.
freaking
Oh,
5
yeah.
years old.
And then I see like the ones that are like it's like a stitch and the guy is like, so how I've made my first million is by working for my dad's company. And then the person stitches in, oh yes, working for daddy. I wish I had one of those, like making fun
Yes,
of the girl
literally.
who's making $1 million working for mommy and daddy. That's all that comes across my feed. So I'm just like, you guys are awesome. It's hilarious and nothing matters. And here we are.
Nothing matters. Emphasis on literally, I'm telling you to tell you nothing matters. Like in the best
Exactly.
way and in the worst way.
Exactly. You just make your own path through life.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
you're going back to school at 30 or 45, whatever.
Whatever.
Do whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
So I love psychology, and actually parapsychology is new to me. What else can you do with a parapsychology degree? Like, are there many avenues, or is it just kind of like what you're already doing, but like escalated?
I think it's a lot of it is what I'm already doing, but escalated. There's also, like different avenues. So people do like past life regression or like literally studying the paranormal and like belief of the paranormal and like proving like, I don't want to say ghosts are real, but like that ghosts are real or like our natural psychic abilities. I mean, the brain's power. And like, I don't think people I don't want to say understand, but it's not like common knowledge, but like how much physics is involved in like all of this, and I when I was talking to my husband about this like a week or two ago on our date night, I was like, yeah, one of the options is like you can get your doctorate in like psychology or you can get your doctorate in physics or like like focusing like on those things. And he's like, you're gonna study physics? I was like, I didn't say I was gonna do like I was like, whoa. He's like, no, I just mean like, are you gonna go crazy like Bruce Banner, the Hulk, like trying to study like physics? I was like, I know that's what you better be saying to me because if I want to study physics, I'm going to study physics.
I love that his mind went Marvel.
I know. I'm like,
Yes.
hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean? I suck at math. So like, honestly, my career would be very brief if I tried to do that. But
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, could definitely try. I mean, why the heck not? If that doesn't work, then you go the other way.
Exactly.
What is I don't know if y'all are familiar with Bashar, but like what he calls it red light synchronicity, where like if you take a path and you get stopped, that just meant that was not your synchronicity. You need to go to the green path of synchronicity.
Yeah.
Which I really love that like reference because I'm like, oh, it might not necessarily be a bad thing. The universe is just saying like, no, not yet. You're not ready for this path yet. Take that one.
Exactly. And like I could not have studied psychology the first time I went to college. Or, because I have an art degree because I thought I wanted to be a fashion designer. And I was like halfway through that, I'm like, I'm kind of sick and tired of looking at naked people all day long in these life drawing classes. I've only ever had one partner, but I've seen a lot of wieners. Like, I don't know about all that.
I love that. That's hilarious.
I'm like, I don't know about all this. So then
you might have seen my girlfriend from high school. She does those. She goes and poses.
You know what? I'm like, good for you, but I'm not.
Mhm.
I mean,
But I
what
and
you're
then I
talking about
went,
is fascinating. I love it. Like psychology was my minor, so like anything you're telling me
oh,
about psychology, I'm like, what? Yes,
yes,
more. Tell me
I
more.
got it. That's more, please. Yeah. So, and then I went for business, and now I'm like, you know what? This whole time, I probably should have just went for psychology, but I wouldn't have learned. Like, I'm not going to like go to school this time. I'm going to be in a container of researching what I want to research with like set out goals, and like
Yes.
I'm not just writing a paper now. Like now I'm like, oh, am I going to use this in like the next book I write, or am I going to use this and release this? Like to me, it's like work now, but it's
Yeah.
just more in like a controlled setting, I guess, that I'm familiar and comfortable with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you're only able to really do that with a master's degree. You're not going to be able to do that with a bachelor's degree. They're two totally different things. You
Yeah.
definitely have more of a focus, like you're saying, for
Yeah.
a master's degree. You don't get that with a bachelor's degree.
No.
A
So you're
bachelor's
saying we're
degree
gonna
is like a sprinkle.
Oh yeah. They're like, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And like I'm interested to see what I can pull in with like the addiction and like those experiences too,
Absolutely.
I'm just interested to see like what.
You can shrink your own brain.
Yes, it's the plan. That is my husband.
Why am I the way I am? That's why
Yes,
I'm here today.
he said the same thing. He keeps calling me like Mulder, like from X-Files.
I loved Mulder. He was my favorite.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
That's your new nickname.
Yeah. He wants me to get for like, see how there's like that empty space right there?
Yes.
He wants me to
The
get
poster
that.
that he had up?
I want to believe poster and put it in the background there.
Yes.
Please do. Please.
Yes.
Yes. And like,
I love it.
he's like, what are we doing tonight? And I'm like, I'm hanging out with my boyfriend and girlfriend. And if he like wasn't catching on what I was saying, I'm like, I'm gonna watch X-Files. I'm hanging out with Scully and Mulder. And he's like, you're Mulder. I'm like, damn. Just like let me live.
Yeah, let me live my life.
Why can't I be Scully? Damn it.
Like, I want to be the queen.
Such pretty hair.
Please.
Oh, come on. Mulder was the cooler one anyway.
I don't know. Right now, I'm a little irritated with him. He's on my nerves, but we'll see.
He does get irritating.
I was
He
like,
does-
you're bugging me, dude. You're bugging me.
That's why
Is this
she
the
was so necessary.
Is this your first time watching it? Or have
Yeah,
you
I've
watched it
never
before
seen
and you're
it.
Oh my
I've
god.
never seen
Okay.
it.
You need to keep
I
we
wasn't
have to
even
become
born
friends and
when
you
it
need to
came
give me
out.
updates. You need to be giving me
Yes.
updates as you watch it. Like I'm gonna make you be my friend just so I can hear updates.
You're
I
fine
feel
in
like
general.
I feel like I need to like start watching it like from the beginning because I only
It's
ever
on
remember
Hulu.
watching it like sporadically whenever
so
it
good.
was like on, but it never like in a row, like
Yes.
periodically through from start to finish.
I'm
Gotta
watching.
watch the movies too.
Oh, I just found
I
out
do
about
remember
the
the
movies. I just found
Yeah.
out about the movies. I will say I'm on. So like things are happening, and I'm like I'm the only person in my world watching X-Files in 2024 because it came out in 1994. So now I'm like going to Reddit and seeing things. I will say I think I'm actually lucky. I think the viewing experience of someone being able to binge all the seasons one after another and not the spaces is a better viewing experience.
I bet.
Yep.
Because even like
Wait, where can you watch X-Files? Now I'm not,
Hulu.
now I feel like I need to like join,
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. Yeah.
Okay. I need to join your
Yeah.
the mass hysteria.
During my viewing period. My
yes,
viewing
I could
party,
totally
whatever.
see what you mean though about like being able to match watch it because like I remember like my mom and I being like, "What is with the smoking man? Like what is happening with the smoke?" And like that went on for so long that you were like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
That like when it finally came out, you were like, "What?"
Yeah. It's definitely better all at one time. Definite. I could not imagine waiting in between episodes a week and then seasons.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's like 8 or 9, isn't there? Isn't there a lot?
I think I'm on season 9 now, and I think there's like at least 2 more.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
there's
even
a
more
lot
than
of
I thought.
seasons.
Yeah, and they're
And
hour
then, like,
long.
what? And then like there's what 3 movies? 2,
There's
3?
at least 2.
I think there's 2.
There's at least 2.
I think they did a special that was like recent though. was like 6
Yes,
episodes.
they did do a special that was recent.
Actually, but the new seasons were very different. They were funny, like
Okay.
not like as like dark and creepy as the original ones. The newer ones had like this like funny undertone.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel like they touch
So
on
now
that.
it's gonna go on. Now it's gonna go on my to-do list to rewatch those
it.
because, yes, because like I said, I only watched them like sporadically. Like my brothers and I all liked them, but like it was only ever like random episodes.
Yeah.
So half the time you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on because it was so random. It was like, wait, what is
Who's
going
that?
on? Like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
it's cool and all. Like, we would like it, but it was still like, I don't really understand, but okay.
Yeah.
You
I think it
know?
was different for me because like my mom loved them. So like every week she was in front of the TV, like ready to watch the new episode. So it was like, oh,
Love
okay,
it.
we're watching X-Files.
Yeah. When I told my stepdad, he was like, "Oh yeah, X-Files." I was like, "Whoa, Keith, calm down."
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
Has your husband seen him? So is he like super like, oh my god, yeah, X-Files? Super nerdy about it. Sorry.
He does that thing when he stands up. I'm not watching the show. I'm not watching the show. But he eats everything on his plate, standing up, watching the TV show, watching the show.
Oh, okay. So it's like, I'm not watching this. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
Then sits down and watches it with you.
The other night.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so now I'm like calling him out on it. And the other night, I'm like, if you're not going to sit down and watch the episode with me, because he's asking me questions. I'm like, either watch the show or don't, because I really am enjoying this. I'm not in the mood to answer questions, So he's like, all right, fine, I'll go take a shower. And I hear him down the whole laugh when something funny, like, happened in the episode. I said, go take a shower or watch the
What a turd.
Yes.
Like him. I will say, this is so funny that we're, like, talking about, like,
X-Files
and the X-Files and everything, because my dad like would have like he was a total like dork
nerd.
I feel like that's him being like, here's like a topic, I know you want to talk to somebody about this and I'm not here for you to talk about this, so here's my gift to you.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
Oh, that makes my
heart
happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I don't know. This was just great. I mean, I guess might have like a message to anyone who's like, there's so much we talked about today. I just feel like we had a great time. Like, I don't even
honestly.
I'm like, what do I even talk about? I guess in terms
what did
of, like,
we even say on here? All I remember is the X-Files.
I know. I'm like, I finally got to talk about the X-Files, so like, I'm pretty happy right now.
How about any advice to like listeners in general, or maybe somebody dealing with an addict? How about that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where I was going to go with it. Yeah.
So, great minds.
I'm telling you, connect. All right. I would say if you are someone who has someone in your life who is struggling with addiction, is to give them grace, but most importantly, give yourself grace, and know that you deciding that you have to set up a boundary or that you have pretty much relinquished all your resources and all that you can contribute, that you are not failing them, that this addiction is something that we only understand, like probably not even the tip of the iceberg about why and how and like how to like help people, and that what you've done is already more than enough, and that grace is basically all that you can give to them and yourself.
Aw.
Yeah.
What about if somebody wants to contact you for your psychic abilities?
For a read. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm Terr Cacilia on all platforms. TerrCacilia everywhere. Instagram. My website is terrcacilia.com. Like TikTok, everything. That's where you will find me. And you can just shoot me a message. I have the link in my bio on like Instagram and stuff, or like it's right on my website. Past, present, future oracle readings, mediumship, and guides, or like Tea with Terr, which is more like expansive, and we touch on like, yes, like the past, present, future, but also like kind of getting more into like the nitty gritty. It's like a hour and a half, kind of like a coaching call, but it's like one off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And we will
sounds
put links
great.
in the show notes as well. So
Awesome.
people have easy access and they don't have to search around because we know people hate to do that.
Also, the whole time while you were going through like your website and stuff, I was like, in my mind, I was thinking, but are there X-File jokes on there? Because there should be.
Not yet, but next rebrand. Don't think I haven't already started to think about it.
I love it. And this is how to deal when the shit gets real. We'll see y'all next episode.